Welcome to the Signals Room. I'm Jacque McLaughlin, and today I want to talk about breakfast. Not because I suddenly decided to become a breakfast expert, and not because I'm going to tell you that you must eat breakfast or that you should skip it. I want to talk about breakfast because it gives us a wonderful example of something we do all the time without realizing we're doing it. We inherit an idea. We see it repeated for years. Eventually, it stops looking like an idea at all. It simply becomes the way things are. So here's my question. Who decided breakfast was supposed to look like that? Sometimes the hardest health belief to question is the one we don't realize is a belief. So let's talk about what counts as breakfast. Picture two breakfast plates. On one plate, we've got sweetened cereal, toast with jam, orange juice, and maybe a muffin. On the other, we have leftover chicken, roasted vegetables, maybe an avocado or a bowl of soup even. Which one looks like breakfast? For most Americans, probably the first one. The second one might make somebody say, "You're eating that for breakfast?" But why? There is nothing in human physiology that says eggs belong at 8 a.m. while chicken belongs at noon or dinner time. Your digestive system doesn't look at the clock and reject broccoli because it's too early. Those categories are cultural, and once you notice that, breakfast becomes a very interesting place to start asking questions. What people eat in the morning has varied enormously across cultures and across history. The modern American breakfast didn't simply emerge because scientists discovered the perfect combination of foods for the human body. Agriculture, industrialization, convenience, advertising, changing work schedules, food manufacturing, and cultural habits all helped shape what we ended up on the breakfast table. Cereal is a particularly good example. Packaged breakfast cereals became enormously successful because they were convenient, shelf stable, and easy to market and easy to turn into a routine. Over time, cereal didn't merely become something people could eat for breakfast. For many families, it became what breakfast was. And then add toast, pastries, pancakes, waffles, juice, sweetened yogurt, breakfast bars, and flavored coffee drinks, and something interesting happened. A meal we often describe as essential for starting the day can easily become one of the most carbohydrate heavy and protein light meals of the day. That doesn't make every bowl of cereal bad or every pancake a metabolic disaster. It simply means the category breakfast food deserves a little more thought than we usually give it. And then there's that phrase that everybody knows, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It sounds almost like a law of physiology, doesn't it? But whether breakfast is beneficial depends on the person, the food, the timing, the rest of the diet, and what we're actually comparing it with. Eating a nourishing breakfast may work beautifully for one person, and another person may genuinely not be hungry first thing in the morning and may do perfectly well eating later. What interests me isn't deciding which person is right. It's how uncomfortable we can become when somebody doesn't follow the rule we thought everybody knew. Before we ask whether we're following the rules correctly, perhaps occasionally we should ask, who wrote the rules? And breakfast is just an easy example. Think about some of the nutrition and wellness statements many of us have heard over the years. Fat makes you fat. Eggs are bad for cholesterol. You need 8 glasses of water every day. Don't eat after a certain hour. Orange juice is just how you get vitamin C. You need 3 meals every day. Snacking keeps your metabolism going. Breakfast is mandatory. Some of those ideas contain a piece of truth. Some are oversimplified. Some were based on the best information available at the time and later needed more nuance. Some became tangled with marketing, and some simply became habits that nobody thought to question. Now that's important because repetition has a strange effect on us. Something doesn't have to be proven for us to experience it as true. Sometimes it only has to be familiar. This may be the larger point I want to make today. Our bodies don't operate according to cultural categories. They respond to protein, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, micronutrients, total energy, hormones, sleep and movement, and stress, or circadian timing, and countless other signals. The body doesn't know that oatmeal is respectable at 7 a.m., but salmon is strange. It doesn't know that a muffin is breakfast while a hamburger is lunch. Those are our labels. Physiology has its own rules. And sometimes our cultural rules and physiological needs line up beautifully, and sometimes they don't. So this isn't about replacing one dogma with another. Whenever we start questioning conventional advice, there's a temptation to swing all the way to the other side. If cereal isn't automatically the perfect breakfast, then cereal must be terrible. Or if breakfast isn't mandatory for everyone, then everybody should fast. Or if fat wasn't the villain we once thought it was, then unlimited fat must be healthy. That's not curiosity. That's just replacing one rigid rule with another. I don't think the goal is to become suspicious of everything we've ever been told. The goal is to remain willing to ask, is this actually true? For whom? And under what conditions? And what does the evidence tell us now? This is why I enjoy conversations like this, because breakfast isn't really the point. The point is how easily a repeated idea becomes invisible. Once something becomes normal, we stop examining it. And when we organize our lives around it, we may even defend it without remembering why we believed it in the first place. And that can happen with health advice, and it can happen with aging, and it can happen with symptoms. It can happen with what we think our bodies are capable of. We hear something often enough, and eventually we stop asking whether it still deserves to be true. Normal can even describe what is common without telling us what is necessary, optimal, or inevitable. So after all that, you may be waiting for me to tell you what breakfast is supposed to look like, and I'm not going to, because that would be rather ironic, wouldn't it? Instead, I would ask better questions. Are you actually hungry in the morning? If you eat breakfast, does it satisfy you or leave you hunting for something else an hour later? Does it contain enough protein for your needs? Is there fiber? Are you choosing it because it supports you, or simply because you've always thought that's what people eat in the morning? And maybe once in a while, give yourself permission to eat something that doesn't look like breakfast at all. Leftover chicken at 8 a.m. will not cause the breakfast police to arrive at your door. At least I haven't met them yet. Now, here's what I'd like to invite you to do this week. Notice one health rule that you follow almost automatically. Don't immediately stop doing it, and don't decide it's wrong. Just get curious. Ask yourself, where did I learn this? Do I know why I believe it? Is it based on current evidence, personal experience, family habit, advertising, or something I heard 30 years ago? And then see where the question takes you. You may discover the rule still makes perfect sense for you. Or you may discover that you've been eating breakfast according to somebody else's instructions for a very long time. I'm Jacque McLaughlin, and this is the Signals Room. Until next time, stay curious, and especially about the things you've never thought to question.